Good evening and welcome to the Town of Acton Selectmen's meeting for June 13th, 2013. First item on the agenda, a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Approval of the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda.
Seconded?
All in favor? Approval of the minutes of the last meeting.
I move that we approve the minutes of the last Selectmen's meeting.
Seconded?
All in favor? All right, old business, liquor licenses. In the last 3 years since I've been here, we've had liquor licenses, and now we have 3 establishments in town. And how we got our first one was years ago when the Potting Shed came to the town and asked for a beer and wine license for their restaurant, and the town passed it, which opened us up to having other establishments come into town and get liquor licenses. In that time, we have never really had a policy or any kinds of rules and regulations for how we're going to do liquor license. So we are going to pass this on to our policy committee this year and have them write a ordinance that will come into effect before the renewal of all licenses for next year. We are going to look at other towns and cities and see what their ordinances are, and we will have that in effect before. It has no effect on our renewing licenses this year, but we just want to make everybody aware. A couple other things that we want to make them aware of, and this is all 3 establishments, is we've had some concerns from the fire department. On all 3 places, they've responded to fire alarms, and the patrons were still in the restaurant eating and drinking when the fire department came. So it's a big concern to our chief that if your fire alarm goes off, that you please empty your establishments, and that'll be one of the things that'll be on the ordinance. New business, election of chairman.
I move that we elect Ted Kryzak as chairman of the Selectmen.
Seconded?
Any discussion? All in favor? Liaison list for 2013. Each year we assign one selectman to different committees to be the selectmen's liaison and attend their meetings so that we can come back and report to the other selectmen, because we have so many committees and departments. So for the next fiscal year, for Warrant and Finance Committee, the Acton School Committee, the Road Committee, and Assessing will be myself. For the Recreation Committee, the Fire Department, the Transfer Station will be Bill Shields. And for the Policy Committee, the Land Use Department, the Conservation Committee, and the Forestry Committee will be Ed Walsh. June 11th, election results.
Election results for the town of Acton. There was 536 ballots cast. The Board of Selectmen Assessor, Overseer of the Poor for a 3-year term, Ted Kryzak, was reelected. He was the only one running for that position. 395 votes. There were 40 write-ins and 101 blank. The road commissioners for the road commissioner for the Northern District, 3-year term. There were 2 running for that. Scott Mooney was reelected for 356 votes. David Winchell Jr. for 176 votes, and there were 4 write-ins or blanks. School committee members for a 3-year term. Jeanette Beers, 430 votes. She was the only one running for that position. 22 write-ins and 84 blank. That's the results of the election.
Abatement for Patrick Stevens. Abatement review and recommendation, map and lot 131-057, account number 2015, name Stevens Patrick. Review, the land was valued as part of another lot. The assessment represented a duplication of the value for this lot. Abated valuation, $1,575. Abated tax, $17.33.
I move we approve the abatement request.
Seconded.
All in favor?
What's that?
You want that?
You have to sign that one too.
Oh, we have to sign that one, too?
This is the one that will go to Jennifer, and that's the one, that one tear out will go to Jennifer, but this stays on the record.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
1313.
You got your handy dandy Jen, right?
Okay, open the bids for the tax-acquired property sale.
There was just one bid received.
Okay. We put this property out with a minimum bid of $5,000. It's a 1.5 acre, or 1.4, is that what it was? Acre lot on the Salmon Falls River off of the Hopper Road. We have a bid from, he just signed his name, he didn't write it. Do you have his?
Dennis Martell.
Dennis Martell for $5,010. Entertain a motion?
I move that we accept the offer of $5,010.
Seconded.
All in favor? Vote on the debit card policy. We had our first reading on the debit card policy, so we just need a motion to approve or disapprove
What, the town?
the debit card policy.
I move that we approve the town debit card policy.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Sign.
Yeah. Okay, Iron Tales liquor license. Okay, do I have a motion on Iron Tales liquor license?
I move that we approve the Iron Tales liquor license.
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor? There's a page here for us to sign, right? Is this where we sign, Lorraine?
Yeah.
Do we need title? Do we need the title or just a signature? Okay. Okay, the Potting Shed liquor license. Motion?
I move that we approve the liquor license for
Potting Shed.
Potting Shed.
Seconded.
All in favor? First reading of the mileage policy mileage reimbursement policy. Reimbursement for mileage at the federal rate will be provided to employees meeting the following criteria. A personal vehicle is used for transport. The trip must be pre-approved by a department head. Funds for the trip must be in the department's approved budget. The purpose of the trip is for town business or training. There is no other source available for reimbursement. A reimbursement request form should be submitted to the treasurer within 30 days of the travel completion or no later than June 30th, the end of the fiscal year. The form, see attached, will contain the following information: the signature of the authorizing person, documentation for training activity, dates of travel, beginning and ending odometer reading, beginning and ending locations, purpose for travel, total mileage, and total amount of reimbursement. That is the first reading, and we will have it back again in 2 weeks. Okay, first reading of the amended personnel policy. There's only a couple of changes here, so I'm not going to read the whole policy. Under purpose, which is the first article, the following policy adopted by the Board of Selectmen details the rights, responsibilities, and benefits of Acton employees. The provisions of the policy are applicable to all full-time, part-time, temporary, elected, and non-union employees of the town. The change is we are adding in elected, so that the personnel policy now also affects elected officials. The other part is the Article 15, policy on harassment. This is a totally new article written by our policy committee. So this is a first reading of this. It is the policy of the town that all employees and volunteers are able to work in an environment free from all forms of harassment. This policy covers supervisor-subordinate actions as well as actions between coworkers. Harassment is defined as unwelcome advances, pressures for favors, and all other forms of sexual, verbal, written, mental, or physical contact, which takes place under any of the following circumstances. When submission to such conduct is made explicitly or implicitly a condition of employment. When submission to or rejection of such conduct by an individual is used by the offender as the basis for personal or business decisions affecting the individual subjected to advances. When such conduct has the effect of unreasonably interfering with the individual's work or personal life. When such conduct has the effect of creating an intimidating, hostile, or offensive work or learning environment. An individual who believes they have been subjected to harassment has the right to file a complaint with a member of the Board of Selectmen and/or the Maine Human Rights Commission. Each incident shall be fully and promptly investigated. The results of the investigation will be documented in writing and a copy provided to the claimant. Strict confidentiality will be maintained throughout the investigation or to protect the privacy of all parties. The town will not tolerate intimidation, discrimination, or retaliation against any individual who makes a report of harassment. A person found to have harassed another employee or volunteer will be subjected to disciplinary action, including legal action. Copies of this policy and subsequent revisions will be provided to each employee and appointee. The town office shall provide education and training for all new employees, volunteers, within 6 months of commencement of employment appointment. So that's the first reading. That will be back in 2 weeks. Other business. Anybody have any other business for us? Come on up.
Good evening. My name is Diana Pettis, and I've lived in Acton for 10 years with my family, and it's my pleasure to speak before you tonight. I'm here tonight to share some information with you about renovating an existing building in our town for the purposes of creating an extended library and community center. I've talked with many residents in our town about where seniors and families and children go. In these conversations and in the research that I have done, I have not found that there's a central location in our town. Families with children do most of their activities at school, and seniors in the town gather right in this same building where we are. Wouldn't it be good for the residents and business owners to have a place where events could happen in one central location? With the help of other interested residents in our town, and many are in the audience tonight, I've found community block grants where Acton can apply for funds to the state of Maine to renovate an existing building for these purposes. I have brought a handout that I'd like to share with you about some of the steps that I've done and some websites that I've gone on. And on the flip side of that sheet is a petition. There's a group of us who had gathered for an Acton Coalition meeting just to find out about physical activities in town as well. And I have some people that have been working with me on this initiative. I've recently talked with Ken Paul, the code enforcement officer, because the space that we're looking at is the library and then the gym that's right next door. And I know that there's been questions in the past about the septic and all that information. We're also working on a rural active living assessment, and this kind of ties into the need for a community center in our town. The rural active living assessment kind of talks about what does the town have to offer its residents for healthy activities and information. What I'm asking for you tonight is just to take a look at the information that I've put together on my handout. This is an initial conversation that I'd like to start with the selectmen and share the information. We really can't move further until everybody has a chance to look at it and find out if this is something that we could get more interest in with the town to move forward. And we can't do that without your leadership and expertise in this project. I want to thank you for allowing me the time to speak on this matter. It's something that I'm very passionate about and really believe would benefit the seniors, families, and children in our town. So thank you very much for your time, and I do have a handout that I wanted to pass out as well.
Okay, I have a question. This is through the
Sure.
This is through the Good All program, where they came to town and asked us to fill out that survey?
That's the rural active living assessment. That is kind of separate from the community block grant, but in my opinion, it kind of all ties together because that information would be a good selling point when we're talking to people in the town about what do we have for healthy options for people? Where is there a center in town? So in my opinion, the things kind of go in tandem with each other.
Okay, so is your group planning on filling out that assessment?
We are in the initial stages right now of, what we kind of did was we roped out a mile radius around town. We've looked at some roads, taken some pictures of the conditions of the roads. We put together some demographic information about the town. We've looked at policies and procedures in regards to what is available for healthy activities for seniors, families, and children.
Okay, great,
So I have my handout that I'd like to pass out to you as well.
great.
And my final request is I'd like to be put back on the agenda in 2 weeks to check back with you guys after you've had a chance to review this information so that we could discuss next steps, if that's okay.
You got that? Yep, all set.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else with other business? No? Okay. Announcements. Volunteers are still needed for one member and one alternate member of the Saco River Corridor Commission. And I believe we still need volunteers for the Warren and Finance Committee, correct? But I guess we'll straight that out on Saturday.
They'll be elected.
Okay, yeah, we'll be doing the election on Saturday, but for all the positions, including the alternates?
The two positions will be on the,
Yeah, but we haven't had alternates since we wrote the new plan for that.
All up for election on Saturday.
Okay, so there'll be 4 up for election.
5.
5, okay.
the
So,
3 on the regular Warren Finance Committee and the alternate, two alternates.
right, okay, so we're going to be having 5 openings or less on the town floor. So if anybody's interested, please come to the town meeting and let us know that you're interested. And there'll be a vote by hand on Saturday to appoint to that committee. The town hall will be closed Saturday, June 15th, due to the town meeting. Anybody else have anything?
Nope.
Bill?
No,
I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Seconded.
All in favor? Thank you, folks.